Leo. Welcome to your April 2017 Tarot Oracle with a little bit of astrology reading. My name's Mimi. I'm with Divination by Mimi. Today we'll be doing an elemental spread using the Morgan Greer Tarot. This is a Rider-Waite-Smith based tarot. And we will get clarification using the Cartouche Oracle, which is based on Kemetic or ancient Egyptian mythology and energies and archetypes. Firstly, let's go over astrology because, boy, there's a lot going on. Now, I follow Western astrology, so if it's sidereal that you follow, just remember subtract, go back on the chart a month or a sign, a constellation. Okay, so first and foremost, Our Lady Venus is still in retrograde as of the beginning of the month. She will remain there until April 15th. She goes direct. She will be, at that point, in the sign of Pisces in conjunction with Chiron. What does this mean? With all retrogrades, we're looking backwards. We're revisiting things, and we're revisiting a whole lot of things during this retrograde season because there's 4 retrograded planets during this month, okay? So with Venus in retrograde, visiting Chiron in a conjunction, which means both planets are empowering the other. It's amplifying that feeling, right? This is an opportunity to look back at old wounds, things that have hurt you in the past, old concepts, things somebody might have said, some instance or something that occurred in your life that has stuck with you and has flavored the way you view the world, the way you view yourself, the decisions that you've made, and ultimately it's blinkered you from the truth in your life. So it's important that you take advantage of these retrogrades. If you don't, if you choose not to, go back consciously, believe me, the past will come up and show itself to you. Now, Venus is not the only retrograde, but she is in connection with all the other retrogrades because there are other aspects being formed by these retrogrades. In addition to Venus being in retrograde, on the 9th of April, we have Mercury going into retrograde, where Mercury will remain in retrograde until the 3rd of May. Mercury starts the month off in Taurus, but by the 21st will have moved back in its retrograde status to Aries, which it has been for a while. In fact, Mercury will only have been in Taurus for a short period, a small amount of time before it starts heading back to Aries again and then going direct. So again, Mercury will be retrograde as of the 9th of April, will remain there through the 3rd of May, will revisit Aries around the 21st, and that means there is an instinct when Mercury is in Aries to speak before thinking, because Mercury is about communication and Aries is about fast movement energy, fast energy, okay? So with the retrograde, it's important that we're careful with the way that we speak and communicate. It's also important that we don't start any new projects, but rather revisit projects that we have not yet finished. This is a great time to do that because we're revisiting. Retrograde, return, revisit. So re-looking at old projects that you started, finish them off, tie up loose ends, okay? But what you want to avoid between the 9th of April and the 3rd of May is signing your name on the dotted line in any way that's going to affect you for the next 5 to 10 years. So if you can avoid it, don't buy a house, don't sell a house, don't buy a car, don't sell a car. Don't start school, don't finish school. Don't get divorced, don't get married. Big life-changing things you don't want to make huge decisions on because not all the information is going to be fully communicated to you in a clear way because Mercury is not in its highest octave as it's going backward. Okay? Also going retrograde, very busy month, April. We have Saturn going retrograde. Saturn is in the sign of Sagittarius. As it goes retrograde, it's forming a conjunction in and out, going direct, going retrograde, going direct, going retrograde with the galactic center. So just as it goes retrograde, Saturn will remain in a retrograde status through the August 25th of this year. It's a long time. It will be, it's a slow-moving planet. So in this time frame, as it's going retrograde, again, retrograde, revisit, return, relook at things, right? It will be doing this at the galactic center. Galactic center is about us literally looking back to day one, right? This means you really looking back at your life, the things you've said, the things you've learned, the ideas that you've formed, the relationships that you've had. from your formative years. We're talking way back when, from childhood forward. And how are they peppering or seasoning your life now? How are they blinkering you now? How are they holding truth from you now? How are they holding you back? And how can they project you forward? So again, with retrogrades, if you choose not to look back, that's fine, but it will rear its head to you. Another aspect with another planet that's growing retrograde, this is the fourth planet, it's Jupiter. Jupiter is also retrograde. And it's been going retrograde and direct in the sign of Libra for a few months now. But the important thing to remember here is it's forming a square with Saturn, which is also retrograde. And it's a retrograde in conjunction with the galactic center. This really highlights things that you've said, things that you've done, particularly as it relates to relationships. It's going to, if you ride the energy, it will take you back naturally to reflect on these things. It won't be so painful if you don't fight it. If you be honest, if you're honest, if you are brave, and it's not that much bravery required. Again, it's the past we're looking at. It's nothing that can hurt you now. But you have to have an honesty and a bravery when you look back at things that you've done and said and experienced. And with that, you have to own them. Jupiter's going to require that you own them. Saturn's going to require, hey, I need you to own this because we can't move forward until you recognize, America, until you recognize that slavery was wrong. You cannot move forward and call yourself an ethical nation. Those kind of things. That was a little bit of politics thrown in there, but if you get what I'm saying, unless you look back and are honest in your recollection of the past, it will represent it to itself to you over and over and over in the shadow until you look at the shadow and under the rocks and behind the curtain and all sorts of things. Okay, so with all four planets, some of which are in direct aspect, impactful aspect with other retrograde planets. Mercury's going to aspect. No, excuse me, Venus in retrograde conjunction with Chiron will aspect Saturn, which is about old emotions and you old relationships and you owning up to them and learning from them and moving on from them. And with Saturn forming the square with Jupiter, both going retrograde, looking back, it's requiring that you go back honestly and, cough up the apology if it's necessary, if it's required. Cough up the acknowledgement. I kind of fucked that up. I shouldn't have said that. I'm really sorry. I was wrong about that. So take some bravery, take some honesty. But let me tell you, it's a lot easier to do it consciously than have it thrown in your face when you're not willing to look at it. Okay? So Leo, with all of that said, your ruling planet, the sun, is right now in the Aries/Taurus world for the month of April. So, let's see, the sun in Aries is not an unnatural aspect. Fire and fire, you're active, Aries is active, so it's not that far of a cry. But when the sun moves into Taurus, this is a little bit less your vibe. It slows things down a little bit. It grounds it. It's much more earthy. It's much more about home, slow-moving concepts, sensuality, things that can tend to bore you. So you might feel a little bit of frustration around the time where the sun is going through the Taurian constellation. But trust me, with these retrogrades, you'll have plenty of other action going on, so fear not. All right, so I'll shut up with the astrology, and we'll get into some tarot. As I said, we're going to be doing a elemental spread using the Morgan Greer Tarot, which is a Rider-Waite-Smith based tarot, and we'll get clarification with the cartouche and runes if we need it. All right, so Leo, the I Will, the King of the Jungle, Queen of the Jungle, the leader by divine right. What do you need to know as you ride these retrograde waves? You're a very active, assertive, not in a bad way, active and assertive. You act on life. You don't react to life. You engage in things directly. So I have a feeling that you're going to take full advantage of this retrograde energy and grow exponentially from it, as you tend to do. And remember, when we're going retrograde, we're not just talking about this incarnation. There are things that we will be learning from previous incarnations too. So there's karmic things to learn. So in addition to consciously looking back at the past, consciously looking at old patterns, Look at through meditation. Look through look at your dreams. What is, Our Lady, what is the subconscious showing you from the depths of the sea that you can't see and necessarily normally, but you have to close your physical eyes and open your spiritual eye, your pineal gland. Open that seed, the seed of the soul, and look past over the ages, the Akashic records, all the times you've been here. All right, Spirit. Sword, Ace of Swords in reverse. Earth. High Priestess in reverse. We were just talking about her. Air. We have the Three of Pentacles upright. Fire. We have Cancer, the Queen of Cups in reverse. And in the West, in water, we have the Star. That's a lovely energy. Okay. So, Spirit is communicating to you to look back at old ideals. The Ace of Swords in its upright position is just a benign concept, idea, a thought, the seed of a thought, of an idea. I believe this retrograde and Spirit is trying to tell you to take a look at some of the very basic. You really are going to be looking back, especially with the High Priestess in reverse here. And with creativity here. No fire for you at all. Surprising, this is Leo we're talking about. We'll get some clarification here, but yeah, so there's some idea that you've had for some time. Again, this is perfect for retrograde season. Some concept, some theology perhaps, philosophy that you've held for a long time, and it's not serving you any longer, and Spirit is saying this is the time, retrograde season is the time to reassess that. Perhaps you were brought up with some old archaic ideas of what gender means. Perhaps you were brought up with some old archaic ideas of what the self is, what autonomy means. Okay? So Spirit is suggesting that you take a look at that. Hey, maybe a polyamorous relationship is not a bad thing when you look at the big picture, when you look, bird's eye view down at the big picture, considering we're all souls, it's all fluid, we're all collective anyway. Does my heart truly belong to only one person? Is that possible? Is that honest? So you're taking a look at some old concepts. So old concepts that you've held for a long time, as every other zodiac sign is as we go through April, retrograde April. You're going to feel a lot of pressure, just so you know. Just keep that in mind and try to temper yourself, your reactions, your communications, your actions as you ride this out, because this will be a high pressure time. Lots coming at you. Okay, from Earth. Earth being the north, this would be things along the lines of your health, your wealth, your finances, your stuff and your things. You've got the High Priestess in reverse. So the High Priestess on her high active, she is diving deep, looking at the subconscious. And it looks like you have not been doing that. In fact, you might have been lying to yourself about some things that are related to either health or your wealth. Perhaps you have, been saying, I'll start saving in a couple of months. It'll all be okay. Perhaps you have been lying to yourself about health. Maybe you've been letting things go too long. Maybe you've had a pain in your chest too long and you've been ignoring it. Maybe you've put on a few pounds and you haven't been addressing that. Maybe you've been feeling winded. I'm kind of getting the vibe that this is health more so than wealth. There's something you're ignoring in your health that you shouldn't. I don't think you should ignore it any longer. Because you've been kidding yourself, you've been fooling yourself, you've been playing a little trick on yourself that it's all going to be okay, but there's some culmination that could be coming. I think it might be work related. So on your mind at the moment, you've got the Three of Pentacles upright. This is the works card in the Thoth deck. This is about you in collaboration, building the first forms of manifestation from the work that you've put in. And I have a feeling that you're doing too much or you're focusing too much on it, or this could be part of the stress that you're feeling here. That's kind of the feeling that I get, that this is related to this. You're ignoring something here. There's something that should be brought to light here. right? Something that's in the shadows that you kind of know about, but you're hiding it, putting it under the rug. But it needs to come to light. It needs to be addressed. It might have to do with work. That's the feeling I'm getting. You're possibly burning both candles, burning both ends of the candle, spreading yourself too thin as it relates to work. It could be more than just work, because this is on your mind. This is what's in your thoughts at the moment. But you're thinking without a doubt about work and what you're building. But I think this might not be the time to focus solely on that. And honestly, take a look at this and this. In fact, these all might be related. Now, in the South, in the creativity sector where fire is, we have the Cancer card in reverse. This is the Queen of Cups. The queens tend to be cardinals. Well, they are cardinal signs, and Cancer is the cardinal sign of water. So because she's in reverse, this tends to be, I think you're spreading yourself too thin. The lower octave of Cancer is that she does not, he or she, it doesn't matter. The energy is that you don't know where you end and the other begins, meaning you aren't setting boundaries. And this, I'm thinking, is creatively connected with career, what's on your mind here. Whatever this is you're working on, your mind is on it, but I think you are spreading yourself too thin, and it is affecting your health, and you're ignoring it. Because this indicates to me that you're taking on this type of lower octave Cancerian energy, which is literally not putting up any boundaries, saying yes to everything for the sake of, whatever it is you're trying to build. Don't do that. If you don't do that, if you put some boundaries up, if you have an understanding that everything will work out. It does not have to all work out right now. And I'm going to tell you right now, in April, with this retrograde season, you will be riding the bicycle uphill in first gear for a very long time, because everything is moving backwards. So with Spirit telling you directly, relook at your ideas. Literally, it's the sword, and it's the Ace of Swords, the very essence of your concepts, your philosophies. You need to reassess, because it's affecting your health. You're lying to yourself about your health. You're spreading yourself too thin, and it all has to do with what you're thinking about constantly, which is whatever project it is that you're working on in your career. Spreading yourself way too thin. You need to learn to say no. Okay? Here's the good side. In relationships, you have the Star. The Star's a very positive, hopeful, loving card. So that tells me that you've got people around you that love you. It's major arcana. You've got two major arcana cards, one in reverse, one in detriment, one in the lower octave, which is the High Priestess. You're kind of lying to yourself. You're hiding things from yourself. You're brushing things under the rug as it relates to your health. Yeah, I think more so than your wealth, your health. But in the relationship, in the West here, water, cups, things are good. Look how fertile the land is. She's joyous and happy and confident in her nakedness. Originally, I believe this was not a female alone. This was a hermaphrodite. But the land is fertile and lush. She's pouring water out. There's water to be had. There's water to give. You're giving and receiving love as it relates to relationships beautifully. You need to take this concept, what you're experiencing here, of that natural give and take, that natural flow of projection and reception, and apply it here, because you're projecting and you're not getting anything back. Your bucket is obviously empty, and it's taking its toll. So really take advantage of this season, this retrograde season. All right, let's get some clarification on this. Yeah, just on this. This is the cartouche. It is based on ancient Egyptian or Kemetic mythos, ethos, archetypes, energies. Looks like you're right on course. The cards are right on course with you, with the astrology at the moment. With the exception of this, you're not on course here. You need to take a rest, take a vacation, relax. Let's see what we get here for High Priestess, because you're not being honest with yourself. You're not looking at things. Why? What is this? Is this health? Is this wealth for Leo? What are we not being honest with ourselves as it relates to the physical, manifested 3D world? Well, here we go. You got the Erasmus in reverse. Erasmus is about ancient wisdom, enlightenment, wisdom that's passed down through the ages. There's something that you know or something that you're about to learn as you reassess things, as you relook at things. Because whatever ideas or wisdom that you've learned is hurting you. There's some concept that you're holding on to here, and that you're holding on to here as I see clarification for this, that is causing, there's some concept here with work or energy expressed or manifestation, something to do with manifestation and the results that you get, the fruits of your labor and how you expend your labor. That is an old concept that does not apply. It's not even that it's old, it's incorrect. You've had it a long time, that makes it old, but it's not right. And it is hurting you now. At this point in your life, it's having an effect on your health. Possibly on your wealth too, but I really feel it's on your health, and you're lying to yourself. You're avoiding this. Don't avoid this. Please look. Take advantage. Try to just, if you can take some time off or shut your brain up from thinking about these projects, and, you know, stop spreading yourself too thin. Your energy is, you're going to lose that wonderful sun energy that you were born with, your birthright, because you're spreading yourself way too thin. As it relates to this work or this project, and this is the reason you're doing this, or the concept behind why you are just spreading yourself to nothing, has to do with some old belief that you have. It's having an effect on your health, and you're lying to yourself about it. You're ignoring it. You're keeping it in the shadows rather than bringing it up to the surface, to the light. So this is definitely a message for you. This retrograde season is for you, Leo. It's talking to you. Reassess how you think about things. Be honest, be brave, which is absolutely you. You are honest and brave. Very brave. Okay? I think that's all I've got. I don't think it needs any more clarification. You need some time off. You need to think and reassess about your concepts of success, your concepts of energy exerted, what is hard work and what is not, and what is just riding up the hill on a bike in first gear. You know, what is doing nothing for you, but causing you to expel all your energy, possibly to your detriment, serious possible detriment. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm going to talk in. That was 22 minutes. I hope this was helpful. Again, this is a general reading for Leo. So if you'd like something a little more tailored to a question that you have in your life, feel free to send an email to me at the email address in the description box below the video. That's mimimemes@hotmail.com. This is the April reading, so the only other readings I'll be uploading for the month of April will be for the full moon and the new moon. And until then, if I don't speak to you directly, then I will see you for the zodiac messages for the month of May. And again, this is 4 eclipses going on. And again, whether you take advantage of it or not, it will bring itself to your attention, whether it's physically or people communicating things to you. So just, you know, be that usual brave lioness self that you are, and just taking things on directly. Look at them and be willing to change. Okay? All right, much love to you. Have a good April.